Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are doing great. I am Neha Rajvanshi and I welcome you all in today's class, that is English class of class 9th. So students, in today's video we will start reading with our next poem from the book Beehive. This is poem number 10 and this is actually the last poem from our book, and the name of the poem is A Slumber Did My Spirit Seal, and this poem is written by a very famous, a very renowned poet, that is William Wordsworth. So he is the poet of this poem. So students, it's a very short, very simple poem, but this poem is actually having a message for all of us. So let's start the poem. First of all, before you read, so before starting the poem, let's get some idea. The poem is about the death of a loved one. So in this poem we will read about the death of a loved one of the poet, and you know how the poet is feeling now, what are there in his heart, in his mind, what are his feelings, what are his emotions after the death of his loved one, that we will read in this poem. How does the poet feel when he thinks about her death? How does he imagine her to be after death? So in this poem we will read that now how the poet is feeling, all the emotions that the poet is having at this time, that we will read, and how the poet is imagining her after the death, that where she is, how she is. So we will read all about to that in this poem. So let's begin the poem. So it's a very short, very simple poem. This poem is having only 8 lines and these are the first 4 lines. These are the opening lines of the poem. So let's read the lines. A slumber did my spirit seal. I had no human fears. She seemed a thing that could not feel the touch of earthly years. So in these lines the poet is saying a slumber did my spirit seal. So students, first of all let's understand the meanings. Let's see what slumber means. Slumber means a sleep, or we can say a very deep sleep. Spirit, we can say soul or mind also. And what is seal? Seal means to fasten or close very tightly or very securely. Okay, so now the poet is trying to say that he was in a deep sleep. Okay, he was sleeping for a very long time. He was in a deep sleep, and because of that deep sleep, it was like his spirit, or we can say his soul or his mind was very tightly, very securely, it was fastened, it was closed because of that sleep, right? And the poet was sleeping for a very long time, and this was the reason he was having no human fears. It means the poet is trying to say that he was behaving as if he was sleeping for a very long time, and because of that he was not having any kind of realization. He was unable to feel, he was unable to realize anything, he was unable to accept the truth, and this is the reason he was not having any human fears. So students, now let's understand what human fears means. Okay, so we human beings, we are having a lot of fears, right? But what is our biggest fear? The biggest fear of all human beings is death. Clear? We all are having this fear. We always afraid to that हमारे जो beloved one है, हमारे जो close one है, जो हमारी family में है, जो हमारे near and dear है, right? हम उनको कहीं खो ना दे, right? So ये जो feeling है that they can depart to us, they can leave us, this feeling is the biggest fear of all human beings. So the poet is trying to say that he was in a very deep sleep for a very long time, and because of that his soul, his mind, they were very tightly, very fastly, or we can say very securely, they were fastened, they were closed, and this was the reason the poet was not having any kind of realization. The biggest human fear, that is the fear of death, the poet was unable to realize that fear. Clear? She seemed a thing that could not feel the touch of earthly years. Now the poet is saying that she is the beloved one of the poet, right? So poet is saying that earlier he was not having any kind of realization of this truth, that she may die one day, but now she has died, she is there no more, she has passed away. So now poet is saying that now because she is passed away, because she is died now, so this is the reason reason that she seemed a thing that could not feel the touch of earthly years. So what earthly years means? Earthly years means the passing of the time. So we can say that, you know, day after day, or we can say week after week, month after month, day after day, or year after year, the time is flying, the time is passing, but everyone who is died, who is there no more, they are unable to feel this passing of the time. So the same case is there with the beloved of the poet. Now because she is died, now because she is there no more, so this is the reason that she is unable to feel this passing of the time, she is unable to touch this passing of the time, or we can say she is unable to feel this earthly year. So we can say the time that is there on the planet Earth. Okay, so these are the first 4 lines of the poem. So let's understand the explanation one more time. In the beginning of the 2 lines, the poet is trying to say that he was into a very deep sleep. So now here what deep sleep means? Deep sleep means suppose when we are sleeping, then obviously we are having no idea that what's going on around us, right? So now here poet is trying to say that as if he was having a very deep sleep, and because of that his spirit, or we can say his mind, was very securely fastened, and because of that he was not having any kind of realization of human fears. And here the poet is talking about the biggest human fear, that is the fear of death. It means the poet is trying to say that he was not having any idea that one day his beloved one can die, one day his beloved one can pass away from this earth. But now when that has happened, now when his beloved one is there no more, then finally the poet is accepting this truth that yes, जो death है, that is inevitable to all, we all have to die one or other day. But earlier the poet, he was having the life, you know, as for granted. He was not having any kind of idea of this realization that we all have to die one or other day. But now when he has lost his beloved one, so finally he is there with this realization, with this acceptance that yes, death is something that is inevitable to all, and we all have to die one or other day. So now after this realization, now in the 3rd and 4th line, the poet is saying here that now when she is died, now when she is there no more, so now she is like a thing that cannot feel the touch of earthly years. Now she is just like a thing, because now she is died, now she is not a living being, now she is not a human being, but she is just like an object, she is just like a thing who cannot feel the touch of earthly years, who cannot feel the passing of the time, who cannot feel that how day after day, year after year, month after month, the time is passing, the time is flying. Why? Because she is dead, because she has died, because she is there no more, because she has passed away. So now she has turned into one of the object, now she has turned into one of a thing who cannot feel the passing of the time, who cannot feel that how time is flying, how time is passing on this earth. Okay. So here we can understand, we can imagine, we can see one thing, that the poet earlier, he was totally away, he was not having any kind of realization that yes, we all have to die one or other day. He was having this belief that his beloved one is always there with him. Okay, so this was his feeling, but this was not happened finally, and one day his beloved, she died, she passed away. So after that the poet, now he accepted this thing, now he was having the realization that, you know, death is inevitable to all, and we all have to die one or other day. So we should respect the life, we should enjoy the life, because the life is something very precious, and this is a thing that is not there always with us, right? जो हमारे beloved ones हैं, जिनको हम you know बहुत ज़्यादा love करते हैं, respect करते हैं, जिनकी company हम बहुत ज़्यादा enjoy करते हैं, so we should always respect that thing, that yes, we are having our close ones, we are having our family with us, we are having our near and dear with us, because that thing is not something, you know, that is permanent, right? Because death is there, and death is the biggest truth, it is the biggest reality, and we all have to die one or other day. So we should not take life as taken for granted, and we should respect life, we should value all the people that we are having in our life. Okay, so this is the message actually that the poet is trying to convey from this poem. So students, now let's discuss some of the literary devices that are here. So let's see first of the rhyme scheme. So now I am very much sure you all are able to mark the rhyme scheme. So let's see, the first word is a seal. Seal is the first sound, so we will mark it as A. Second is fierce. Fierce and seal, no, there is no similarity. Again it is a new sound, so we will mark it as a B. Next is feel. Seal and feel, yes, they are having similarities, they are having similar sound. So again we will mark it as A, just like seal. Next is ears. Fierce and ears. Fierce and ears, yes, obviously they are similar. So again it will be B, just like of fierce. So the rhyme scheme of the first 4 lines of the poem is A, B, A, B. Clear? One more literary device that we can say here is alliteration. So now what alliteration means? Alliteration is a literary device in which there is a repetition of the same consonant sound, right? So here we can see some of the examples of alliteration in the first line of the poem. So there is slumber, spirit, seal, right? So they all are having the same sound in the beginning of the words. So this is the repetition of the same consonant sound. So this is the example of alliteration. Okay. One more literary device is here in these lines, that is enjambment. So now what enjambment means? Enjambment, again it is a kind of literary device, it is a poetic device where the same sentence continues to the next line without any pause, or we can say without any punctuation mark, right? So here we can see after feel there is no punctuation mark, there is no pause, only one full stop is there. It means the same sentence continues to the next line also without any pause, without any punctuation mark. So this is the reason it is the example of enjambment. Okay, now let's read the next 4 lines of the poem, that are the last 4 lines of the poem also. So let's read. No motion has she now, no force, she neither hears nor sees, rolled around in earth's diurnal course with rocks and stones and trees. So now here the poet is presenting that after death, now when his beloved has died, so now where she is, how she is. Okay, so poet is saying no motion. Motion means we can say movements. So now when his beloved, she has died, she has passed away, so obviously she is unable to move, she is unable to make any kind of motion, and she is not having any kind of force, and she is not able to hear, she is not able to see. Why? Because she has died, because she has passed away. And all these are the qualities that we living beings, we can do, we can perform, but after death, when someone is passed away, when someone is dead, when someone has died, so after death we are not able to perform any of these actions, any of these qualities, right? So now the poet's beloved, she has also died, so this is the reason she is not able to move, she is not having any kind of force, and she could neither hear nor she could see, right? Because she has died. Rolled around in earth's diurnal course with rocks and stones and trees. So let's see first meaning of diurnal. Diurnal means daily. So now in this line the poet is trying to say that where she is. So we all know that the poet is a Christian, and according to Christian religion, after death जो dead body होती है उसको इस तरह की coffin में रख के under the earth इस तरह से bury कर दिया जाता है. Okay, so the same happened with the beloved of the poet. She is also buried in this coffin under the earth. So now when, because she is under the earth, so she is rolling around with the earth in earth's diurnal course. So diurnal means daily course. So we all know that what earth's daily course, so we can say what earth's daily movement. We all know that earth rotate on its axis, right? And it takes 1 day, or we can say 24 hours to complete one rotation. So that rotation is known as the daily course of earth. So here the poet is trying to say that because his beloved is there under the earth, because she is lying there in such kind of coffin, so this is the reason that she is also rolling with the earth when the earth is rotating on its axis. So his beloved is also rolling, his beloved is also having that rotation with the earth, because now she is lying there under the earth, now she is a part of earth, right? So she is also rolling, she is also having that rotation because now she is one part of the earth. So obviously with earth she is also moving, with earth she is also rolling, and she is also taking that rotation. Okay, with rocks and stones and trees, just like all the rocks, all the stones and all the trees that are there on earth, that are there on the soil, on the ground of earth. Okay, so they all also move with earth. Okay, it means when the earth is having the rotation, when the earth is moving, when it is having that movement on its axis, then all the objects, so we can say all the rocks, all the stones, all the trees that are there on the earth, they also move. Similarly, now the beloved of the poet, who is lying there under the ground, who is there in one of the coffin and she is buried under the ground, so now she is also a part of the earth. So she is also having that round, she is also having that rotation with the earth, and she is also completing that rotation in 24 hours, because that is the daily rotation, or we can say daily round of the earth. So here the poet is presenting the idea that after the death, we human beings, we all be a part of the nature, we all be a part of Mother Earth. Okay, because according to Christian religion, after death all the people, they are buried under the earth in one of the coffin. In this picture we can see, so now the beloved of the poet, she is also lying there under the ground. So now she is a part of Mother Earth, now she is a part of the nature, and with Mother Earth she is also, you know, rotating, she is also having that movement, or she is also rolling with the earth. Clear? So these are the last 4 lines of the poem. So let's one more time understand the explanation part. So in the first 2 lines, the poet is presenting that now what is the condition of his beloved. Okay, so here the poet is saying that when his beloved has died, when she is there no more, so this is the reason she is unable to move, she is not having any motions in her body, and she is unable to feel any force, she is unable to perform any force. Okay, and she could neither hear nor see, because all these qualities, all these are the abilities that we living being can do, that we living being can perform, but after the death one is unable to do any kind of activity. Clear? Next, in this line the poet is trying to say that after death his beloved is there under the earth, so now she is rolling, she is taking that rotation movement along with the earth. And what is the diurnal course, what is the daily course of the earth? It is the rotation when the earth rotates on its axis. So now the beloved, she is also there under the earth, so she is also rotating along with the earth. And in this line the poet is trying to say that all the natural objects, rocks, stones, trees, they are the part of nature, they are the part of earth. Similarly, after the death, we all human beings, we all be a part of Mother Nature, we all be a part of Mother Earth only, and after death we all rotate, we all move along with the Mother Earth. Okay, so this is the poem. So now let's see a rhyme scheme of these lines. So first word is force, so let's give it C. Next is seize, it will be D. Next is course, force and course, yes they are similar, so again we will mark it as C. Trees and seas, yes they are having similar sound, so we will mark it as a D. So the rhyme scheme of the last 4 lines of the poem will be C, D, C, D. Clear? And again we can see example of alliteration here, like round and rolled and round. Okay, rolled and round, yes they are having similar sound, so this is the repetition of the same consonant sound, so this is the example of alliteration. Okay, and similarly we can see example of enjambment that we have read earlier, when the same sentence continues to the next line without any pause. So here we can see after course there is no punctuation mark, there is neither comma nor full stop, right? No punctuation mark is there, and the same sentence continues to the next line, and here we can see one full stop. So this is the example of enjambment. Okay, so these are the literary devices that we can see in the poem. So students, we have completed the poem. It's a very short, very simple poem, but the poem is having a message. So what is the message? First of all, the poet is trying to say that death is inevitable. We all human beings, we have to die one or other day. So we have to we should respect, we have to respect the moments that we are having in our life, because they are very precious and they are not permanent. Okay, so you should always value, you should always respect all the people who are there in your life. Clear? The second message that the poem is having, that after our death we are part of Mother Earth, we are part of Mother Nature. So this is the second message that the poem is having. So I am very much sure that the poem is clear to you all. Explanation part and all the literary devices that we have completed, everything is clear to you all. And in the next video we will start with the question answers, we will see the comprehension part, and we will see the summary of the poem. So see you in the next video. Thank you.